What's going on, guys? So for today's video, I decided to make a top 10 list of mistakes that I think that football players make in their training, specifically high school players, people that aren't quite as experienced. And I didn't put these in any particular order, but starting with number 10 is cardio. A lot of guys find that they get winded in practice, and so to counteract this, they start doing a lot of cardio. The typical cardio, where you're just getting on a treadmill or maybe running outside just at about 5 to 7 miles an hour consistently for a long period of time. And the issue with this is you're changing your muscle types. You'll become less explosive when you do this type of cardio, and that's not what you want to do if you want to improve your endurance as a football player. A football player needs to be explosive, so you need to train explosiveness while training your cardio. And the way that you do that is essentially training how you play. In football, you're doing short bursts with a lot of energy, and you'll be doing that over a long period of time. So what you want to do is things like sprints or even ladder drills or anything that is explosive and quick like that, that does take a lot out of you, and you take short breaks. Take 30-second breaks, 1-minute breaks. Go run sprints. Go run a 40-yard dash, give yourself a 30-second to 1-minute break. Run another one, run another one. But do explosive work like that, and you'll get winded. You'll work your cardiovascular system, but you're not going to switch your muscle over to slower muscle fibers like you would from traditional cardio. So, number 9. I see a lot of guys that when they're trying to get better, they become complacent and they start training with their friends and just whoever's around them. And a lot of times those athletes do not push them enough. So get outside your comfort zone, find people, make friendships, do what you have to do to associate yourself with really good athletes, so that not only when you're in practice at school or wherever you practice, but outside of that, when you're, especially in the off season, when you're training, you can train with really good athletes. Find the best athletes you can to train with. That'll really help push your game further and make you level up. Coming in at number 8 is not enough variety in your training. So many people get stuck in ruts, whether it's football or anything else. You become comfortable with certain routines, and that's what you stick to. And it's okay to have a routine to a degree, and a lot of times it's very positive. But you can't do the same things all the time. So many people just go in and do the same type of weightlifting and the same type of footwork. You need to be changing it up all the time. You need to get your body used to a lot of different things. There's a reason a lot of elite athletes are very good at different sports and do a lot of very strange exercises and routines to get themselves better. The more variety you have, the more weapons you have in your arsenal as far as being an athlete in general. You want to make sure you're constantly mixing things up, changing the drills, the routes, whatever you're doing, to make sure that you're ready and able to do anything. You want your body to be used to as many types of training and play as possible. That'll help you adapt faster when you learn new things and when you get put in unusual circumstances. Alright, so coming in at number 7 is stretching, and this kind of hits on what I was just talking about. A lot of athletes, especially lower levels like high school, they aren't really stretching. They might do a little bit of stretching in practice, but if you really want to be elite, you gotta be stretching all the time. It will make you better, and you need to find out where your weaknesses are. So make sure you're stretching, look for weak areas that you need to improve on as far as flexibility, and make sure you're doing that. That will really up your game. You can't be a great athlete if you're stiff. So, moving on to number 6. Balancing. A lot of athletes completely neglect balancing work. If you're not balanced, you're not going to be very mobile. You need to be very, very, very well balanced. It helps a lot when it comes to athletics. Just think about it. Everything you do in sports pretty much revolves around your ability to balance on your feet. You find yourself in awkward positions, landing weirdly, and you have to be able to balance out of that, make sure you don't fall, make sure you can keep going, and you will come out of breaks faster. You'll do a lot of things better, and you'll be less likely to injure yourself if you have better balance. So do not forget about your balancing work. And coming in at number 5 is not studying game film of elite athletes in your position. If you want to be great, you need to look at other people that are great. Find the other athletes that play your position, especially ones that have your same play style and body type. That'll help you. If you're a bigger receiver, look to bigger receivers, whatever the position may be. But look to people that are similar to you playing your same position on an elite level. Don't look at college, go straight to the highest level, the NFL. Look at the best players, study how they do it. That can put you really far ahead. If you're competing against other high school athletes and you understand the techniques and tactics that the best in the world are using, those other athletes on your level very likely are not doing that. So if you're doing that, that's going to give you a huge advantage. Technique is enormous when it comes to football. A lot of people oversimplify it and they think it's just all about speed and power and that sort of thing. But technique plays a crucial role. It can really level you up if you have better technique over your peers. So, moving on to number 4. Now, if you're a player that is trying to slim down and lose fat, this isn't going to really apply to you so much. But for a lot of athletes, especially on a high school level, you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to get bigger, and you're a crucial part of your development where you need to really put a lot of focus on your physical development and building muscle. If that's you, you need to make sure you're not skipping meals. Do not skip breakfast. Don't just skip lunch because you're busy. You need to plan your meals out. You need to make sure you're getting good, healthy meals in, and you need to not be skipping them. Every time you starve your body of a meal like that, not only are you losing your ability to build muscle, but you're also telling your body that food could be limited. And one thing you might not know is slow twitch muscle, what you develop in like long distance runners and stuff like that, not what you want as a football player. That burns less calories, so your body is more likely to build slow twitch muscle, making you a less explosive athlete if your body thinks food is in short demand. So don't be skipping meals. Okay, so number 3 is isolation exercises. It's really easy to do isolated exercises because honestly, they're just easier. The more you bring into an exercise, the harder it becomes. Doing a deadlift is mentally tough. Doing a squat is mentally tough, because it takes so many muscles at one time. It takes a lot more willpower. It's a lot easier to get on a preacher curl or something and just work biceps. And that's not gonna help you as an athlete. Your body needs to know how to work together. Your central nervous system is just as important, if not far more important, than your overall strength and muscle and all that stuff. You have to be training your central nervous system to work together with your entire body, because when you're playing football, your whole body needs to work together smoothly, powerfully, and your body has to be able to recruit a lot of muscles to work together as efficiently as possible. And the way you train that is working your muscles all together as efficiently as possible. You can still do isolated exercises. I'm not saying totally neglect them, but limit them. That should only make up maybe between, I'd say 30% and less of your workouts in the gym. And number 2, this is something that pretty much everyone does, honestly. Everyone likes to avoid the things that they're bad at. If you're not good at your footwork, if you have just a crappy time with doing ladder drills, if you can't move very well, if you can't backpedal well and you're a cornerback, maybe you're less likely to do exercises and different types of training that involve those weak points. A lot of people just avoid their weak points, and that's natural, but that's going to completely stunt your growth as an athlete. You need to identify what you're bad at and train it. Playing to your strengths can be a very positive thing, and that's what you should do in a lot of cases in life. But when it comes to being an athlete or a football player, you have to target your weaknesses, work on them, develop them. And if you can't identify them, have someone else that knows what they're doing, a really good coach, someone else, watch you play, watch you train, and see where you might be weak, and really attack those points. You have to be a well-rounded athlete, so do not neglect your weak points. And just a quick example of what I mean by finding your weak points. With regards to sprints, if you're trying to improve your speed, a good way to do it is just go out and run sprints until you cannot run sprints anymore. And then the next day, the next 2 days, take note of what parts of your legs and your body get sore. That's what you have to work on. That's a really good way of identifying a weakness. For me, it's really my hips and hip extenders, stuff like that, and even my calves. So I know that those are the parts of my body that are kind of behind. Those are my weakest links. Those are where get really sore and everything else is totally fine. So that's just an example. You can apply that to a lot of different things. But moving on to number 1 is not getting quality sleep. You have to sleep well if you want to perform well. When you're in high school or just anywhere in life, there are a lot of distractions, whether it's work, school, or partying, friends, stuff like that, or just not having a good schedule, staying up because you're on social media or playing Xbox or whatever it is that holds your attention. It's very difficult to make sure you're always sleeping well and consistently and getting the 8 to 9 hours of sleep that you really ought to be getting every night. Sometimes that's not a possibility, but do your best to make sure you're getting sleep, because if you're not getting sleep, you're not recovering well. If you're not recovering well, you're not going to progress well. So do not neglect sleep. It's very important. And if you have trouble sleeping, take the time to figure out what is keeping you from getting quality sleep. Whether it's too much light coming into your room, your house is too warm, things like that. There's a lot of different things that can affect your sleep quality. So find out what it is. But anyway, guys, that is my top 10 list. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helps you. And as always, if you want to see specific videos, leave a comment below. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll try my best to get around to it. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, like the video. It helps out the channel quite a bit. So I'd appreciate it if you could do that for me, and I will see you guys next time.